Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time, you're welcome. This is Essential Patience and I am Patience. In today's video, we will be talking about So You Wanna Be an Engineer. This is just a video that I'm just giving you small tips about what to expect if you want to go into the field of engineering. I'm an engineer and I studied at Howard University and graduated with a degree in electrical engineering, concentrating in digital systems and microcomputer. And while I hope this video is versatile across many fields of engineering, it's not going to apply to every single one. So this might not be necessary if you're doing marine biology engineering. So here are what I learned during my 4 years of learning engineering and what I think would be really good to know if you want to be an engineer. So be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Starting with number one is the time commitment. You need to be ready to commit about 4 years and maybe even more towards your engineering degree. Most engineering degrees are at least 4 years if you're doing them at an accredited university. You're not going to be engineer in a few months. This commitment is for the long haul. A few years, I mean, it's not that long, but you just need to be aware of the time. Just get prepared for it. Number two is that it doesn't start at zero. So I find that a lot of fields in college, as long as you have your high school diploma, you can basically jump into a lot of the prereq classes and get straight into it. And by the prereq, I'm talking about prereq specifically for that major. But the thing about engineering, at least electrical engineering, computer engineering, calculus is one of the first classes you take. And see, calculus is not zero. This is because a lot of people have to either start in college algebra or pre-calculus. And I was one of those students because I registered to Howard very late and I missed the placement test. So here I was in a class, and even though the class was very easy, the fact is that sometimes there are people who actually need the help. Freshman year, taking college algebra for the fall semester and for the spring semester pre-calculus. So those are just classes that you don't even count towards your major. So it's not starting at zero. Same with other classes and coding techniques, because some of my classmates already knew how to code, something like MATLAB, some knew C++, and I wasn't really a coder. Like, I didn't know. I was in MATLAB like, were we supposed to learn this somewhere? There were people in my class who already knew machine languages. They were pretty advanced. I wasn't that advanced, and I did a pre-engineering program, so I knew how to do like the bit systems and do a truth table, how to draw the gates, know the difference between an AND gate, OR gate, NOR gate. Like, I knew those things, so I thought I was smart, but everybody is smart, okay? Everybody is smart. So that's something to know, that some students already know this. So you're not starting at ground zero for a lot of things. And this may apply to several of your classes that will be specifically for engineers. So physics for engineering, that's not the same as regular algebra based physics. This is calculus based physics. And even with chemistry, there's chemistry for engineers as well. So you need to know these things, that you're not starting at zero. A lot of them you have to at least have some base knowledge that is above your high school knowledge to really succeed in the classes. And that's not to make it sound like really hard, because you can still succeed, but for it to be easier, I would say maybe easier and not as challenging. So that's just something to keep in mind. Number three is the amount of math classes you are going to take. If you don't like math, you're going to have a really hard time, because I took so many math classes. So I already told you about the 2 math classes I didn't have to take but ended up taking. Next, you have to take 3 of the calculus, right? Calculus 1, 2, and 3. So all of these is teaching you different things that you would need. But I ended up taking engineering mathematics. I took probability and statistics, signals and systems, which is like a math class, but it's not. Like, it's a lot of these classes are math based, and it's not just your math classes that are math. All your other classes have math in it. So even if you do something like circuit theory has calculus in it. Same with electronics, it's a lot of math in there. Even when you're looking at different electives to take, more likely than not, it has some form of math in it, so you can't escape it. So yes, you have those line of math classes to take, but even your core classes have math in them. Very few have no direct math on it. You're doing some sort of calc 1, calc 2, calc 3 in all of them. The reason why those are considered prerequisites is because you need them for all your other classes. 4 is also physics. I wasn't a big physics fan in high school, and for some reason I did not think about how much physics was in engineering, but it is, because I took 2 physics classes as my prerequisite. So I took physics 1 and 2 for engineers, and then having most of my classes have physics in it, especially like even using different principles of physics in electronics, in circuit theory as well. So if you're not a physics person, I would definitely say that it's not something that you have to like, but you at least have to be comfortable in doing it, because there's a lot of physics in engineering, and then you need to make sure that you are ready to really understand the concepts, because physics is normally a prerequisite you take your first and second year. I think I took them in my sophomore year, but let me tell you, the rest of those 2 years you will be using the principles and be building upon those principles. It's fun. And number 5, speaking about the prerequisites, are to understand that these general requirements are not the same for all schools. So I hear a lot of people talk about, oh, go to community college and just get your general requirements out of the way. If only it was that easy. Because let me tell you, not only are your general requirements not just an English class or sociology class and all those things. No, it is specific. Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3 are considered general requirements. Yes, they're prerequisites. You don't need them for every major, but you definitely needed them for electrical engineering and computer engineering at Howard University. Some things such as circuit theory is considered a prerequisite. So you're not just going to be taking fun-loving classes and taking a culinary class and taking painting, just wasting 2 years on general requirements. Chemistry, I already said it, calculuses, circuit theory, digital systems, really important that you get these prerequisites and you have the idea that if you go to college for engineering, your general requirements are literally hard classes. They're not just easy, fun classes that you are just there for the college experience. So get ready. And let's follow that exact same train of people saying go to a community college, get your general requirements, finish it at a 4-year university. Because these general requirements are typically standard classes for engineering, you are gonna have a hard time trying to transfer it. I've seen people try to transfer circuit theory. I wonder how it went for them. Very few people are successful. Digital systems, oh my God, like even coding classes. Let's say your community college had offered for you to code in Python, and then you went to Howard University and you wanted to do electrical engineering. Well, guess what? They don't do Python and electrical engineering at Howard University. They do C++. So guess what? Your Python class will not transfer as your computer science class because it is not the exact same language. So already have the language barrier when it comes to coding classes. And then let's say if you took physics and then it was algebra-based physics, but is it engineering-based physics? So that may not transfer. And then your calculus, if you take all 3, luckily calculus is pretty standard, so you should have no problem transferring that. But then you also miss on classes like Intro to Engineering, Intro to Engineering 2, and then some more. Watch my video on 4-year university versus community college. See what I have to say on it, because I don't think a lot of people really have that conversation the way it should. The electives that you transfer that are just like arts and history and all those things, they don't do much for an engineering degree, because most of the time you get like very few electives. I think I got maybe 2 PE classes that were like 1 credit each. I had a social science and humanities class. Everything else was technical based. Oh, and I had a free elective. Make sure that you know the school that you want to go to your engineering course for, and then see their engineering scheme for the next 4 years. And number 7 is about having a dense schedule. When I was in high school, I heard these. It's still like a myth to me because I never experienced it, where you be told that you can take classes at any time of the day that you wanted. Just a bunch of classes being offered all day, every day. You just pick the one that works for you. And that seemed really nice and maybe even possible in theory, but that's not how it's executed in real life. Most semesters, I'm taking 6, 7 classes. All those classes can clash with each other. Let's say I skip it this spring semester. I have to wait till the next spring semester to take it. And more likely than not, it will be with the exact same professor at the exact same time. That's the truth. You can ask a lot of college students. They will tell you that there's some professors that you can't escape. It is a rite of passage. They're the only professor that teach that one class. If you think you're just gonna go there and take all your classes in the afternoon, they schedule classes only on Mondays and Wednesdays, that's not how some works. Classes like calculus were 4 times a week. Classes like physics were 3 times a week because it included recitation. So sometimes maybe you can't choose the professors, but as you go up in your studies, the class choices get less and less because it's getting more niche. So I will give an example. When I was taking calculus 1, there were several choices. There were at least 6 classes. When I went to calculus 2, there were 4. And then when I went to calculus 3, I had 3 choices. I mean, it's ironic, right? Number 7 is that truthfully, it can be discouraging. I'm not sure if this happens in every school, but at Howard, definitely, you could tell that a lot of students in engineering graduated at the top of their class. I mean, a lot of students at Howard graduate at the top of their class. When you come, you're already having a lot of smart students. And it's not a direct competition. Like, don't think of it that way. And I think with Howard's atmosphere, it's more collaboration than competition. And I really appreciated that because it was a really collaborative environment between me and my classmates. And this becomes especially true when you become upperclassmen because a lot of classes are very challenging that you would need somebody to explain to you. There's always somebody who gets it. And that's the thing, that sometimes you may not understand certain subjects, but it seems so easy to other students. You may always think that you're not as smart. Some classes, the professor, it just seems very difficult. Sometimes it is just like you taking so many classes. I remember I used to have breakdowns during some semesters, especially I think the first one was like fall 2019. That was my sophomore year. Like, it was so difficult taking 7 classes. There was one day, like my worst day of the week was a Tuesday, because on Tuesday I had 6 classes from 9 a.m. all the way to 6:30 p.m. If I went through like an entire week without crying, like that was a good week because I was really struggling. So it's hard to not feel like you are just not doing as great when those moments come on. But remember that your classmates, your professors, your advisors, they're really a community that can help you. Make available uses of the resources, whether that's with tutoring, whether that's with the writing center, whether that's with the library. Make good use of it, and the people are in the community as well. So just make sure that you're not comparing yourself. Make sure that you're not being like a secret competition with other people, because you realize that a lot of college students just caring about themselves, like not in a selfish way, but they're just trying to do the best that they can as well. And everybody's struggling in some way, shape, or form. So it's better to come together and learn together so you can all succeed versus being in some sort of competition with people that don't even know that they're in competition with you. But I would encourage that you start getting 4.0s like in the first year. Like, take those first few years seriously because it gets harder from there. Number 9 is getting internship and landing internships between your semesters and even during your semesters, if you can find them and if you can handle them. Very important to take and make use of your summers to ensure that you are getting real life experiences and preparing yourself and your professional resume for when it's time to get a job, because internships really would help navigate where you want to be in engineering. Because no matter what engineering you take, whether it's electrical, computer, systems engineering, there's so many places that you can take with that degree. It's not one thing. Finding an internship during the summer, putting those skills to use. And I know it's not as fun as staying home the entire summer resting. And remember that once you become an actual engineer, you're not gonna have summer breaks anyway, so start getting used to that now. That sounds mean, but it's true. So just know that in terms of landing internship, career fairs, you can talk to alums, organizations such as the National Society of Black Engineers, Society of Women Engineers, Electrical and Electronics Engineers. So many of them you can find an internship, apply yourself, and even if it's not the exact internship you want, still take it, because that experience will help you land another internship that you might want better, or a job, which goes into number 10, which is to land a job before graduation. It is very doable, let me tell you. I know a lot of people who did that, and I did the exact same thing. I got my job before I graduated. It was a journey because I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted. Even though it's a big deal, remember that you don't have to stay at this job forever. So even if it's not everything you wanted in a job, you can still take that and start there. And then you might find something that you want and then move on. Or maybe it's a job that you thought you wanted, but then you actually get it and then you're like, I'm not sure. And in my case, I'm glad I had a lot of choices that I could make my decision and pick the job that I felt was good for me at this moment in my life. But I will tell you this, everybody's journey is different. And maybe you don't find a job right away, but if you do want to, you need to really apply yourself and apply for jobs. Take those internships, practice those interviews, especially those technical interviews. I've been through technical interviews, behavioral interviews, as well as case study interviews. They are challenging. So practice with friends, professors, alumni. Some of them volunteer to do mock interviews with you. If you apply to 2-3 jobs and you don't get hired and you're mad, because some people apply to much more. I know I applied to many more. So make sure that in that case, you are being patient with yourself, but also make sure that you are applying to all the opportunities that come your way. Even if you don't think you're qualified, you'll be surprised. Somebody else might see something new that you don't see in yourself. I'm so excited to be moving on to the next chapter of my life with little stress compared to what I've been through in college. So you want to be an engineer? Do you still now? I hope so, because we need engineers in this world. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, because I have many more things coming up, and I hope you're really enjoying these videos. And remember to leave a comment as to, are you a person who is interested in engineering? Do you have any questions on engineering? I'll be right there to answer it if you do. And remember to also ring the notification bell, because I post 2 videos a week on Tuesdays and Fridays. Come over and see what we're discussing, because it's gonna be good. Thank you for watching again. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.